All right, today we're cracking open a book that's basically a roadmap for one of the toughest journeys anyone can take. We're going to take a look at the recovery book, which really does offer a clear, practical map for the road to recovery from addiction. I mean, let's be real. For anyone just starting out, or for families trying to figure it all out, the whole world of recovery can feel chaotic. It's a journey that almost always starts with this exact feeling, just being completely and totally overwhelmed. But there is a guide. This book is called a recovery classic for a really good reason. It gives you hope and, more importantly, a clear path forward. So think of it less like a textbook and more like a map for this journey, from the depths of addiction into a whole new life. So what makes this particular map so trustworthy?
Well, its power comes straight from the author's own deep, and I mean deeply personal experience with addiction.
The author, Dr. Mooney, says it right up front. This isn't some detached clinical view for him. When he says it's personal, you can feel that. And that authenticity is what makes his guidance so powerful. And when he says personal, he really means it. He grew up in a home with parents who were struggling with addiction. But here's the crucial part. He also saw them get sober. He witnessed that incredible transformation, a journey that actually led them to found their own treatment hospital, Willingway. This experience shaped his entire life, and it gives the book this incredible sense of empathy that you can only get from having lived it. And that personal experience leads to one of the book's most important ideas. See, before you can find a solution, you have to know what the problem really is. And that starts with completely reframing what we think addiction is. And this right here, this is a total game changer for so many people. The book defines addiction as a chronic disease of the brain, like diabetes or heart disease. It's not a moral failure, it's not a lack of willpower. Shifting to this medical point of view is so important because it helps to strip away all that shame and self-blame that can be such huge roadblocks to getting better. So, how does that happen? This quote explains it perfectly. Sure, the very first time, it might have been a choice, but over time, using drugs literally changes the wiring in your brain. It physically affects your ability to make good choices and to control your own actions. We're talking about a neurological process here, not a moral one. Okay, so if addiction is a disease that physically changes the brain, how do you even begin to heal? Well, this brings us to the book's most powerful practical tool, the recovery zone system. Turning your whole life around can feel impossibly complicated. So the book does something genius. It simplifies the entire process. It breaks it down into a clear, manageable, 3-stage blueprint for literally rebuilding your life from the ground up. And it's based on something we all instantly get, a traffic light. First, you're in the red zone. The message is simple: stop. Your only job is to save your life. Next, you move into the yellow zone. Proceed with caution. This is where you start to carefully rebuild. And finally, you earn your way into the green zone. Go. This is where you get to celebrate a full, sober, happy life. So, what does this journey through the red, yellow, and green zones actually look like in real life? Well, it's all about shifting your focus. In the red zone, your focus is singular, survival. Your only job is getting well. Detox, treatment, support groups, that's it. Everything else can wait. But then, as you get stable, you move into the yellow zone, and your focus pivots to rebuilding. This is where you carefully start to repair relationships, your career, your finances, your health, all the things that were damaged. And all of that hard work leads you to the final destination, the green zone. And this isn't just about not using, it's about creating a life that is so full and meaningful that you can celebrate it, that you can use your experience to help other people, and that you can actively protect this amazing gift of recovery that you've earned. And that really gets to the core of it all, the ultimate goal that the book makes so beautifully clear. Recovery isn't just about what you're running away from, it's about what you're running toward. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's an active process. It's not about just taking away the negative. It's about building a positive, creating a good life, a life you love that's rooted in this new, healthy culture of recovery. So what does that good life feel like? Well, it's about getting back that sense of joy and peace. It's about finding a whole new, healthy way to look at life. It's about feeling a new kind of freedom. It means finally shedding those awful feelings of uselessness and self-pity. And maybe the most powerful reward of all, you learn that your past experiences, even the painful ones, can become a tool to help someone else. And so we'll leave you with this final thought, which is really the core promise of this whole journey. The path laid out in this book, this trip through the zones, leads to a new freedom and a new happiness.
So the question it leaves us with is both simple and profound. What would you do with it?